Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new video series on the channel. We are basically going to be talking all things Warhammer 40,000, wargaming, mostly stuff we're into, so don't expect too much stuff like from Age of Sigmar or things like that, as we don't really play those games, and we don't want to step outside our realm of knowledge, because that's not a good plan, because otherwise we'll get things terribly wrong and people complain in the comments. My name is Leon. Most people call me Rug, and I'm speaking to my dear friend of many, many years, Matt. Say hello, Matt.
Hello, Matt.
Ha ha ha! Good joke.
With a comedy gold.
Yes, comedy gold there. So we've been friends since the 90s, the
Yeah, late
1990s.
90s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have been around since the second edition, basically. Well, that's my first experience, but we both did play the second edition when we went to our first. Well, I don't know if it was your first wargaming club, but it was definitely my first wargaming club. Um, so we're old
Uh,
hands, and we're old farts. So, what is
yes, no,
first on today's gender, Matt?
well, did you want to tell them what we've called our little podcast here first before
Oh,
we move on to the first
I'll
thing?
let, I'll let you call it because I've completely forgotten. I've got the memory
Um,
of a flower.
yeah, so we decided to call this Rug and Matt Wargaming Chinwag,
Yes.
because that's all it's going to be is just us two wanging on about wargaming and things that we're interested in and things that we're interested in seeing come up for 40k mainly, which is our sort of main bag at the moment. But there's certainly other things out there. We're not only wargamers, we're role players. Um, there's the board gamers. There's lots of the sort of geeky hobbies that we have that are kind of
I think
have a lot of
I'm
crossovers. Yeah.
I think I'm slightly addicted to Kickstarters. So,
We'll come on to Kickstarters later on.
yeah.
The first thing on the agenda that I've got is the pre-orders that are out for the minute. The main ones that are interesting me at the moment is the new Kill Team um, stuff that's coming out, the Shadow Hunt. So it's got the Night Lord's Murder Wing in it, and along with the Adeptus Sororitas Celestin Insidiance as well,
They do look quite
which will be a
nice too.
they
By the time of
do
recording,
all.
that set might be out of stock, so we do apologise if you didn't. I don't know whether we're apologising or I'm apologising. If you didn't get your hands on it, that's it's really one of those really annoying things. But wait a few months or a couple of months, and they'll do what they've did with the rest of the Kill Team stuff, which is the stuff from the Dead Silence, which is being released. That's the Wolf Scouts and the Tau battlesuits as well.
Mm, yes, yeah. So you'll have that. Those are now out as separates essentially, or being pre-ordered for separates. And again, I like the look of those as well. The Wolf Scouts look really cool. I like the little dog that comes with it. But I must admit, the big thing that's getting me at the moment, I'm not even a Chaos player, but those murder wing guys with the jetpacks, I really like the look of those. I
That is going to be
genuinely,
why that set sells out.
100%. Yeah. If people will just want those. I've always found Night Lords. I don't know whether under sort of underappreciated sort of chaos factions, but the people who generally play them are very militant about it. They're very kind of like, this is my chaos faction, and I love it. So yeah, very
Yes,
interesting.
yes. I remember
And I
back
say
in the second edition, Night Lords used to be quite prominent. You don't really see them much anymore.
no,
I noticed.
because I think it's because if you have a close combat chaos army, you'll probably have a corn based one, and I don't know whether they fit into those. Again, I'm not a chaos player, but if I was going to have a close combat based chaos army, I'd probably have some sort of jetpack troops in them if available. So, but yeah,
That
interesting.
probably would be a good idea.
Yeah, I've certainly had it before. The old Raptors and things like that and stuff. So back in the days. Um, yeah. As I said, we've got the stealth suits, the Wolf Scouts out as well. Um, the other thing, I mean, there are other
Systems?
pre. Yes, I mean there are other pre-order things up as well at the moment. Like I say, we've got well, they'll probably be out by now as well. Actually, sort of as a new release. So for things like Age of Sigmar, for example, You've got the Hellsmith of Hashut, which have just come out as well. Um, the Putrid Blight Kings, and then the Maggot King of Nurgle is the new Spearhead box as well. So there's a
Oh,
lot
they
of
look
Nurgle stuff out there.
they
Yeah,
look so good. What I hate about Age of Sigmar is every time I try to get into it, I just can't get into it. But it's
yeah,
always because of Nurgle. Like
yes,
every
yeah.
single time I see something Nurgly, and I'll be like, "Oh, that's incredible."
Yeah, again, I had a Death Guard army for a little while, about eighth edition when it was in the starter box, and I did really enjoy all of the sort of decay stuff on them, and I enjoyed painting that. And I'd never been a person who'd enjoyed painting up until the point I started painting Death Guard, essentially. So they were really nice. Um, Next thing, I guess we've got new releases.
Well, just before we go
Oh, sorry.
to the new releases, Atomic Mass have also got a couple of pre-orders that I'm interested in with Marvel Crisis Protocol. Um,
Oh, okay.
Up and coming soon is a pack with I don't know if it's a pack. We've got Kang the Conqueror, Iron Lad, Rescue, and Ironmonger, all as possibly one set. Or there could be two sets. If there's two sets, it's probably going to be Ironmonger by himself and the rest together. But the Ironmonger model looks absolutely great, and I definitely think I'm going to have to pick that up. Not sure when it comes out though, because I never seem to sort of get ahead of these things. Um, but that does look
No.
lovely. We've also there've also lots of other stuff coming, but I haven't really seen. You've got Blue Marvel and Spectrum that have just been released, so that's a
Oh, that's
new
cool.
set. So if you're a fan of Marvel Cross Protocols, a lot of people do actually join my channel because obviously I paint the Marvel Cross Protocol stuff and actually love it. Yeah, keep an eye out in the future because my 40k painting days are going to slow down soon because I need to get back on track with all the other games. So anyway, new releases. What have we got that's been released?
Yes, so the main one for 40k is going to be the 500 Worlds. So this is the next narrative campaign for 40k. Um, so you've got the Captain Titus and the Wardens of Ultramar box.
What do you think about those models?
Um,
Because I've heard mixed reviews on those guys, especially the Titus model. I've had a lot of
yeah,
people are not happy with him.
he seems a little kind of static compared to when you look at the Lieutenant Titus model.
Yeah.
As an example, which is a very dynamic model. He's got his tactical rock. He's bouncing off things. Um, he looks absolutely amazing. And he looks like he's in the game essentially.
Yeah.
Whereas the Captain Titus just looks. I don't know. I can see why people would say he looks a little bland comparatively speaking.
He
Um,
reminds me of an Imperial Guard model, like
yeah,
like a High Captain. Was it Creed? I think he reminds me of Creed.
the
Is it
old
Creed?
Captain Creed, the
Yeah,
old
the old Captain Creed, like
yeah,
the third edition one.
the old Fat Man Creed one.
Yeah,
Yes, I see that.
yeah.
Um, a little bit like the new Commissar model, the current Commissar model, which is just a Commissar with his arms kind of down.
Yes.
Doesn't feel very dynamic. Not when you consider that there's that the uh, was it 2 years ago the third year commemorative model was a really nice the Commissar's duty, which has got him sort of pointing the bolt pistol essentially at the back of another guardsman's head to
Yes.
inspire morale in the troops. Yeah, it's literally one arm difference in the pose, but it makes such a difference. And then, like I say, there's a plasma gun sort of version before that where he's sort of got one sort of leg up and things like that and stuff, and he's looking a bit more uh is looking a bit more the one I've got in my head is sort of like a bit more of a pointed cap. um it certainly looks more old sort of 40k, but again it's a bit more of a dynamic model than sort of the current stuff. Again, I think a lot of the set doesn't look particularly sort of dynamic, but it's really nice and it's an interesting set because it's not just all Space Marines. You've got the sort of the Wardens of Ultramar in there as well, which is in you've got the like I say you've got Gadriel and Metaurus, uh, and Metaurus, who is the actual sort of Space Marines in there, but you've got like Commodore Silver, Legatus Minervus, the Astropath, and also the plenipotentiary as well. I have to pronounce that wrong, but it's a good word. So there's interesting other models in the box, and I say those ones as well. You could probably use in sort of if you've got an Imperial Guard set. There's some very interesting sort of you could probably use them as something like a commissar or like a Primara Psyker or something like that, or what they call it, the sort of the Imperial Guard Psykers and things, which would be interesting as well. So
Dude,
yeah,
they are quite well suited for that.
yes, definitely, yeah. Um, and obviously as part of that as well, you've got the campaign books as well. So you've got the Titus campaign books, which are going to have a lot of stuff about sort of where I'll be. So you've got stuff for boarding actions, you've got stuff for narrative campaigns in there as well, and then you've got the detachments and also essentially a lore book. So I mean, recommended retail price on that is 50 quid, and you get four looks like quite chunky books. That if you guys, if you and your club or your people you play with are interested in this sort of Ultramar expansion as a uh, as a narrative campaign to play, you've got everything you need in the books there, and they're all. I say, I'm looking at the pictures now, sort of the internals of them. They're illustrated nicely. They've got really nice um, the sort of the painted models, the sort of action shots for the models all look really nice in there as well. So a very interesting box. What else have we got for the 500 world stuff?
Sure, to be honest, I kind of like how look. You got the Necrons. I know that. I think the
Mm.
Necrons have
Yes, you've got the
sold
new.
out instantly
Yes,
because
yeah,
they
you've
did
got
look
yeah,
lovely.
yeah. The battalion box for Necrons is absolutely superb. Ostensibly as a combat patrol box, without being a combat patrol box. You've got the new Necrosaur Mentor as well, which is just such nice. I like it when Necrons go a little bit kind of Matrixy, if you know what I mean, like the Sentinels from Matrix, where they got the big sort of whippy
Yes,
tails and things like that and stuff.
yeah, they do look
Um,
pretty nifty.
mm. And
I
you've got the new
the
yeah, sorry,
Catan. Is it Catan?
yes, the new Catan Shard of
Yeah.
Nightbringer. So
Yes, that looks
mm.
sexy. I absolutely love the fact that we've got a brand new one after 20 years. Has it been 20 years? It feels like it's been 20 years.
I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say it's 20 years. I'm gonna say because we are like essentially Metal Necrons got to a decent level, and then they brought out like I want to say the Nightbringer was the second Catan they brought out. Someone will definitely correct us on that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yes, yeah, I
I
think
think
there was the
I think the
Deceiver.
Nightbringer was the first actually.
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
definitely
because
two. There was definitely two of them for ages, and it
there
was like
were,
there was
yeah,
that one, and
there
then
was
the
two.
Deceiver. I think was the other one.
Yes, and
Um,
they were gorgeous models back then. But of course, with the technology, plastics technology now is absolutely phenomenal.
oh,
I
good
mean, I
God,
thought
yeah.
the third edition stuff when they were bringing all that out, I thought that was great. But now, like the level of detail and stuff, and the sort of dynamic poses look incredible. Well, I'm saying most of the stuff look incredible. They seem to be sort of going backwards with faces. I've noticed a lot of the new faces are ugly as sin.
At
So,
least they aren't Catachans.
oh well, yeah. At least,
At
at
least they're
least,
not
yeah,
At least they're not the giant faced Catachans.
yeah.
Everything is fine.
Do
Yes.
you think we'll get new Cat Shenron sometime this year?
This year, I don't think so. I I think Astra Militarum, Imperial Guard, whatever you guys want to call it, I think they're low down the list. I think there's other stuff that kind of
I think we'll get a kill team out of it before we get any other regiments because that's what they
I
did
don't
with
think.
the Death Corps,
Yeah,
the Death
Yeah, I
Division
don't think you're wrong with
with
the
Krieg.
Krieg guys.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
Krieg. Don't know why I
yeah,
called him the Death Corps. Uh, but
yeah.
yeah, with Krieg, we got that lovely kill team set with the Orcs. They were lovely too. I think that was the second edition of Kill Team that we got that
Yes.
starter set. Because we're now on the third,
Hmm.
I think.
Was that the one with the commandos in it? You mean?
Yeah, we had the Orc
Yeah,
Commandos and the Krieg,
and the Krieg guys.
and then of
Yes.
course they actually released more because that was a really popular set. So fingers crossed the Catjan will get the similar treatment because they deserve a comeback, quite frankly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it
That and
was. It is.
Morden.
I, I'm now starting a off the back of the Combat Patrol magazine. I'm now starting to build up a an Astra Militarum army. Um, I've got Cadians because that's where you can get essentially.
Yeah.
Um, but I'd love a Cat army. I really like the look of them. I really like the kind of the sort of Rambo feel to them. It's really fun, and as like they've got a few more characters than some of the other guard stuff has got, so it's kind of a bit more interesting that way. So yeah,
Yes. Yeah, we got like Sly Morbo. Um, that's the only one I can remember off the top of my head, but there's definitely more than one.
Colonel, there's
Strafer.
Colonel Strachan.
Oh, Strachan, that's it.
Yeah,
Still sleeping.
yeah, and there's a Sergeant Deal Hand. He's a legend nowadays. He doesn't actually play in the game, but
I can
there's
bring
still
him
rules
back.
out for the model somewhere. Exactly, exactly. They're due for a comeback. There's a couple of bits there, but they're kind of like it's sitting in the legends at the minute. So are they going to bring it back round again? So,
Fingers
but
crossed. Fingers crossed.
yeah,
Anyway, what other
exactly.
releases, or recent releases,
Um,
have we had?
just wanted to talk to you about Warhammer Quest Darkwater, really,
Yeah.
and just your sort of first. You've now got the box.
Yes.
Just
Um,
your sort of first thoughts on that as you've unboxed it and painted some things. So.
there is a very short video, a sort of first impression video of when it arrived. But I do have to say, I am very impressed. I didn't think I would like the map or the maps as a book system, but it kind
Hmm.
of does work quite well. The book is nice and sturdy. The pages are in there, sort of quite well, so they're not going to just suddenly pop off out. Unless, of course, you'd like play it loads and loads and loads. But yeah, the game is quite nice. Of course, all the card stock is top notch. The rules seem pretty simple. I've only literally sort of quickly thumbed through them though. I've not even played a game yet. So I can't like be 100% sure. But the models, for the most part, are actually fantastic. They're currently being painted by me, and there are actually paint guides going up on the channel as we speak. In fact, I think the day before this video, I think we've had two paint guides go up. One for some Pestigors, and the other for Bren Talus, which is one of the heroes. It's one of the heroes I'm not actually overly keen on because I don't really like her face. But the rest of the stuff is actually lovely. They've done a fantastic job. As again, it's all Nurgle, and yeah, so they look absolutely fantastic. But so far, things are going well. I do wish though they would just re-release the original Warhammer Quest and just update the models for that though.
Just bring us back some nostalgia. That's all we ask for.
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
just pure nostalgia.
I
We
genuinely
don't
feel
want
blue
anything
balled.
new. Yeah.
like like we had Warhammer Quest Silver Tower. That was great, absolutely amazing. Then we had Shadows over Hammerhell. Now that felt like more like original Warhammer Quest, but
Hmm.
not quite. That's still an enjoyable game. Then we had the 40k version, Black Zone Fortress, which of course was a dream come true for me, being a massive
Mm.
Warhammer Quest fan and of course 40k fan. And now we've got Darkwater. But oh my god, I mean, just bring the original back. That's that's all I'm asking, please. Just a limited run. Do what they did with Rogue Trader. Just have it up a couple of weeks. If you want it, order it, and then just do that limited run. Basically, I'll stop
Yeah.
scalpers. People who
Yep.
want it will get it, and yeah, and then I'll be a happy little chappy. And you, Games Workshop, if you ever hear this, can make some moolah, and we know you like the money.
Yes. At the very least, they will make 150 quid out of you.
Yes, at the
at
very
the
least,
at
they'll
the
get
very least,
150 pounds.
which
Hear that,
may
Games
not
Workshop?
cover the print run, but
Yeah,
still,
150 big ones, boys.
Sitting there waving the cash.
Yeah. Oh, you can throw that on the bed, put it in coins, and then you can throw it on the bed. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
because there's not going to be much there with the notes. But yeah, that's the, like I said, very impressive set. Can't wait to actually get stuck in and start
Hmm.
playing the game as well. So,
No, definitely. Anything else on the new releases from your front? I've got
um,
everything here.
not my end really. The most I am bogged down by Warhammer 40,000 Comic Book Troll magazine from Hatchet
Yes.
Parkworks. I've really enjoyed collecting it. Don't get me wrong. But I also do regret buying it and then going, you know what? I'm going to make videos out of it.
just the
There's,
just the churn is just the
it
is
is.
now we're at 71 issues in, and we're now hitting that kind of that churn a bit.
Yeah, yeah. It's like this. I just got the latest four issues that have been released this month. We've got a
Mhm.
command squad for the Imperial Guard. Sorry, Astra Militarium. And then we've got 20 Cadians. So I've got to get all that stuff painted in basically 2 weeks. So for the sort of video that go up sort of on the Saturdays. And I just want to do other stuff.
I just want to paint other things now.
Yeah, I just
It's
want.
been
I want to
about a
finish
year.
Dark Water.
Like I say, it's been a year and a half now of this like
Yes,
hardcore, if you know what I mean. It's kind
yeah.
of
So it is.
one a
It's
wek.
yeah. It's the
Yeah,
grind basically
yeah,
that's got. I mean, I do two issues per video, which I'm now regretting. Um, because that has basically like I said, I got to do 20 guardsmen for one video. So I'm going to have
yeah.
to stop what I'm doing with Darkwater and sort of get that out of the way. So that's going to be a bit of a sucky time for me. I love the models, don't get me wrong, but I've got so much other stuff I want to paint. I've got Marvel Crisis Protocol stuff that needs painting. I've got Star Wars Shatter stuff. I've got Star Wars Shatterpoint stuff that needs to be painted. I've got the Masters of the Universe stuff that needs to be painted. I've got a Stranger Things board game with some lovely models from Come On, which I would like to paint. I've got a Thing board game that I'd like to paint. I got that Aliens, another Glorious Day in the Core, um,
Mm.
like 3 years ago, and I would really like to start painting them. I could start painting them, but that would mean I'd have to stop doing the Combat Patrol videos. And I think if I stop it halfway through, I think I'll be letting the people who watch those videos down, quite frankly.
You're so close to the end now. Essentially, you've got what have we got next? You've got these 20 Cadians essentially to get out of the way.
Yes.
And then, as far as I'm aware, on the release schedule, you've then got then there's two issues for the field ordnance guns, an issue for the heavy weapon squads, and
Yes.
then you're then getting Gene Stealer cults, Atalan Jackals.
Oh yeah,
Then it's
I
two
forgot about
issues.
those.
Yeah, yeah, Atalan Jackal. You're gonna a sneaky Atalan Jackals coming back in. Um,
There I was whinging,
uh,
and now you've piqued my interest again.
yep, exactly.
It's like
Then
filthy eggs.
then there's a Sentinel to finish off the combat patrol. Um, don't forget Ursula Creed is turning up in the next box as well, so you'll have
Yeah,
an
it's an extra
extra one for
video.
that. So that's the character for there. Um, and then then after that it's the Sentinel and the Lord on a Juggernaut for the world. Yeah, for the World
World Eaters,
Eaters.
yeah. I think
Yeah,
then
and then
we'll probably get the the last premium set as well, which quite frankly has been worth it to get my hands on a Regal Dawn
oh
uh,
yeah,
for the for cheap. Unfortunately, I will have another Broodlord and those people, which will make the third set of those that I have now. So I think it might be
do not
fourth
want them.
actually.
It's fine. I'd rather have the Rogal Dawn than the Gene Stealer.
Yeah, yeah. I don't need that same Broodlord that I've got already multiple times. I
Yeah,
think he came with Deathwatch Overkill, which was a
mm.
fantastic little board game. Games Workshop released when they were doing board games again. And that weird,
Yeah, there was.
there's a really weird period, weren't there? A few years, sort of about 10 years ago now, where Games Workshop
Yeah,
were like, here, have a board game, and we're like, oh, thank you. And then they went, have another one. I was like, oh my god, you're spoiling us. And we got like
no, it's-
Space Hulk back. We
yeah,
got Assassin. What's it? Assassinorium Execution Force.
yes.
Overkill, Deathwatch Overkill. Then we got like Gore Chosen, Lost Patrol, the the Dark Eldar one. What's that called? Gangs
Oh,
over Komoror.
Gangs of Kimura, yeah.
That's it. Gangs of Komoror. Can't pronounce that. Komoror. Were there any others? I think there were sort of might have been a
Uh,
couple others.
did you say the Speed Freak ones for the Orcs?
Oh yeah, yeah. We got the Speed Freaks one as well. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
And we got Shadow War Armageddon, which is Kill Team before Kill Team, which every single person on Earth has forgotten about, except me, because I was in my loft last year sorting it out and sort of rearranging boxes and things, and I found the box. It's empty apart from the rule book, but I've
Yeah.
still got the rule book because everything I basically bought it because I was like, that's some awesome scenery. It's got some Space Marine scouts and it's got some orcs. So yoink.
we'll have to do we'll do a deep dive into that at some point in the future as well. So
Yes, yes,
that
definitely. It
will
would
be
be
very
interesting to see the
interesting.
roots of
Mm,
Kill Team and to see how much they
yes.
differ.
Now I remember we had a small like 400 points, so essentially a combat patrol before combat patrol was a thing.
Yes.
And you use the gene stealers from the Death Watch patrol essentially.
Oh, I
And I
think I
think I
did.
had some
Yeah.
Eldar. I think I had some Eldar that I'd managed to get like a small force of Eldar at the time. And I think we just had a little or Eldari as they are now.
Yes.
We're so old.
I
We're so
know.
old. We're struggling to remember the new names. To be fair, I talked about Sisters of Battle earlier. I didn't even use the word Sisters of Battle. I was doing really
I
well there.
know. I was
I'm
quite
like,
impressed there.
I'm so on brand
Yeah, I'm not. I call them sisters all the time,
all the time.
all the time. But when you're,
Imperial Guards, Sisters of Battle, Space Marine.
yeah,
We know what they are.
yeah, that's what they'll always be. I do remember they did. They also did like those like they were basically like two combat patrols, or
Mm,
maybe a little less than sort of in an army in sort of two of them against each other in little campaign boxes. I miss that because that
that
was
was
a great way of sort of building up armies and getting a little campaign out of it. I used to get those, um, but then they just stopped doing them. So
yeah. It was really odd. It was such a nice way, and it was such a nice way of not having the sort of bland Marines and something else in a starter box. You could kind of they worked as a sort of intermediary starter box,
yeah,
um, sort of in between things. So if you were someone new coming into the game, you didn't have to get the same thing as everyone else. You could get there was like a like a big Space Wolves box at one point that was really
yes, there
nice.
was Space Wars versus I want to say Orcs.
Yeah, I want to say
Could be
Orcs.
wrong.
Even recently there was I forget the name of the box, but it had like Eldar versus like Chaos in it, and it was like
Yes,
that's a
yeah.
really nice box to sort of
I
um
mean, you say it was
yeah,
recently. That was like 5, 6 years ago.
probably 5 6 years ago. I saw it. Someone still had it in a shop locally, like recently.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
Um,
pick that up because
yeah,
that's if you want to get either of those armies, because it's definitely a valuable sort of
definitely worth it.
set
Yeah,
of
yeah,
money.
100%.
I
But yeah,
remember they
really
did a
nicely said.
uh, Eldari versus Jurokai, Dark Eldar
Mm,
versus Eldar. Basically,
yeah,
I'm gonna use them fancy new terms. I'll stick to the old ways things.
Eldar versus Dark Eldar. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was quite a good. That was quite a good set. But I got rid of quite a few armies. I did have I did come back into the hobby after a short absence, and I was like, I'm going to get 2,000 points for every army. So it was used. Those boxes were useful. But last year I was like, why am I doing this? I've got
Why
too much
not?
stuff to paint, and I don't really like certain armies. So
So
I
I'll
sold
subscribe to
quite
the
a lot of
Combat
it last
Patrol
year.
instead.
Yeah, I'll,
Yeah,
I'll get a Combat Patrol
but yeah,
magazine and do
no.
it that way.
But yeah, I've subscribed to Combat Patrol literally starting at the Imperial Guard magazines, and then I will basically sort of stop after they've finished, and just sort of like yeah, it's a nice way to sort of get a decent Combat Patrol. I'm not sure it's any cheaper than buying a Combat Patrol from the shop, but it's different to the current one, so you're going to get different models
Yeah.
at a very good price, you
Yes.
know. And if I can find any of the other issues in like Tesco and things like that and stuff, I can bolster them up for not a very cheap, for not a very massive price either. Again, it's a
Exactly.
really good, and again, the whole point of it is it's a loss leader for GW. It's meant to be. You get
Those,
these bits, and
yeah.
then you want some more, you need to come to us. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, those kids hooked on plastic cracks, just like they did with us.
exactly,
God, they were
exactly.
pushers.
Yep.
Anyway,
Cool.
before
Anyway, we've
before
digressed from new releases
we have
into
we have
old stuff that we used to do,
yes.
and I have a
What's
feeling that's not going to be the last time we do
no
that.
what is next on your little
The
agenda
next
list? Because you're
thing
more
I want to
organised
talk
than I am.
about, and it's probably a little bit old now, when we're releasing this, but it it's interesting to talk about, which is the New Year reveal
Oh yes,
that GW did. So,
yes, they
um,
were very pretty.
yes,
Um,
Huron Blackheart and his Red Corsairs.
yep,
They look
he
very
looks
nice.
great, but I'm not interested in the Red Corsairs. So
No, not in any way, shape, or form
uh,
for me. But damn, there's definitely going to be a cadre of people picking that up. That's a certainty. So,
worthy of a conversion
um,
too, if you're inclined that sort of in that way. I used to love conversions, but now
No, no,
can't be
no,
bothered.
there used to be a time where you needed to do conversions to get kind of what you wanted. Nowadays, it's like there's so many sprue options. There's so many a lot of good sets have got a lot of options for kind of what you want to do, and there's a lot of things you can make. And some people will still convert because that's part of the hobby they enjoy, and that is the other beauty. The beautiful part of this hobby is that there's lots of elements to it, whether you enjoy
Yeah,
playing it or painting it or building it or converting it,
yeah.
yeah, or just making up stories about your models that it's just fun. It's all there for you, and
I mean,
there's lots of very nice stuff there.
I like the new Terminators, the new Chaos Terminators. They look
Mm,
exactly the same as the old Chaos Terminators, but
but bigger.
bigger. Yeah, just a little bit bigger. It kind of sucks that I've just got these new ones from Combat Patrol last year. My
Yes,
first ever actual Chaos Terminators. It dawned on me.
really.
Yeah, I've had Chaos armies in the past, and I was like, hang on, these are the first
We
ones I've
never
ever got
had
my hand.
Terminators.
Yeah,
I
like how
literally
did
keep going back to bits boxes and finding more Chaos Terminator parts. So I don't know how many Chaos Terminators I've owned
that?
over the years.
I just don't even know how I managed to like
Yeah,
go like 30 odd years of wargaming and not get any Chaos
without having, yeah.
Terminators.
Like I've literally got. If anyone needs a metal Reaper autocannon, please tap me up. I've got it spare. It's there.
Got at least six.
Um,
Uh,
mhm. We then have the new Eldari Rangers as well,
yes.
from the Eldritch Raiders Battle Force,
Yeah,
which looks
they
very
are
nice.
very nice
Yeah.
looking models. Um, Eldari, I do love the way they look. I think they are some very sublime models. But I am, I am unlucky as hell when it comes to dice rolls. So I need like bulk and I need lots of shots. Because the dice will turn on me the second it can. The second it
Yes.
knows that I might win, the dice will turn. So I,
Yes.
I
You're
don't really
you need a
specialize in
you need
things
a
like
3-up armor save, or like and the toughness to go
I
with
need
it
I need a
essentially.
2-up armor save at all
A 2-up
times.
armor save. Um, but
That's how
yeah,
bad
but
my dice rolls are.
these look so good. I like the Eldari aesthetic. It's this 80s, because the aesthetic hasn't overly changed in the is for Eldar. They're still that sort of spindly, kind of sort of space punk look to their armor. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I think they were kind of meant to be like a little sort of space elfy, space sort of piratey
Yeah.
when they first came out. Because these are Corsairs as well, aren't they? As well, if
Yes.
memory serves. So they are kind of harkened back to the old days of Rogue Trader when
Very much so, and there's a lot of that in these models, and I
like
like that because again,
interestingly enough,
we like nostalgia.
Rogue Trader is more like a role play game than it is an actual war game. But that's a discussion for a different video.
That's a very interesting point,
Yeah,
which is a fun point, and again, something only I found out the other day as well. It was kind of how you played Rogue Trader. But yeah,
yeah,
again, we'll harken back on that one at some point in the future.
yes.
Um,
Well, we can even
uh,
do a test game as well at some point. We'll have to use modern
days.
models though because
Yeah,
I
I'm
ain't
sure we.
paying those prices for
No,
original
no, 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 no.
GW models.
Probably got something somewhere. Like I've probably
Yes,
got.
probably.
Mm.
Knowing you've probably got
Yes,
it.
yes. I've just got some rogue trader molds sitting under the bed
Yeah,
there. I
yeah.
just found that. Like I said, I found most of a land raider the other day. Like, I do want to talk about the new Viper model, which is also the Starfang as well.
Oh,
That looks
yes,
very nice.
that
That's
is.
I like an Eldar flyer.
Yeah,
They speak to me, but I'm the same as you. I'm like I need more. I need just to throw lots of orcs at things,
yeah.
to make me feel good, essentially. So yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it's definitely a lot harder. Like I had we used to play with a guy called Gareth
mm,
way back when, and he was an Eldar player, and he was
yes,
absolutely phenomenal. He was like a human sort of statistician or
yes,
statistic machine. Basically, he just knew how to. just basically destroy you, no matter what he used. But he was primarily an Eldar player. Um, so I hope he's still
Yes.
playing actually, and I hope he still appreciates the gorgeous models that he's
Yeah.
now going to get.
I saw oh, last time I saw him was probably pre-COVID, but yeah, I regularly sort of used to run into him sort of in the local area stuff, make sure he was okay and things. I
That's good.
might have to pop up our old club because they now meet near me and just see
Oh,
who's about basically, make sure everyone's okay
well, that's
and
handy.
stuff. So yeah, yeah. They meet literally like around the corner from my house. So, but it's a Friday night, so I'm normally doing some stuff. I'm normally like watching a movie with the kids and things like that and stuff. So, but
Your
we'll
kids get your kids get old enough, and then they won't want anything to do with you. So
they're getting yeah,
yeah,
they're getting that way. They're getting that way sort of into like gaming and things like that and stuff. So I think a gentle push here and there will we should be on it. So
just drag them down the club with you. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking.
Anyway,
Um,
what else we got? What else we got?
we've got some Sigmar stuff. There's new Ossiarch, Bone Reapers. There's Archers, Chariots. But again, we're not qualified to talk about
No,
Age of Sigmar.
no.
They
Models
look
look nice.
all models look very nice. I'm sure whoever likes them will like them.
Yeah.
Um, and then there is some new Blood Bowl stuff as well for the High
Oh
Elves,
yes.
which I will hand
Oh,
over to you for.
be still my beating heart. They look incredible. I cannot wait to get my hands on these. This is going to be one of those sets that I pick up, and I definitely make sure that I paint straight away because they look fantastic, and they really do bring back that nice sort of retro nostalgia feel that sort of the original. Well, it's not really a second. Is it a second? It was not a second edition, but the first time they brought it back in the 90s, that sort of it
Mm.
really reminds me of that with the color scheme and everything. And I can't wait to get my hands on those. So stay tuned for that. I will stick them together, unlike the Chaos Dwarfs, which are still sitting unmade in a box. So
We're a few months away from Combat Patrol finishing. All your time will be free. You can paint
oh,
whatever you
oh,
like.
yes, I know.
Not a problem. Um,
Oh, just you wait. My
uh,
bad finger that really I should stop. Um, is gonna fall off by the time I better
uh,
start learning to paint with a different finger, uh, or my feet. So
we've got nice refreshed custodies for Horus Heresy. Again, it's not a game we play, but they're very nice models. They
I
look very nice.
I
And
was
it's
super tempted a few years ago by that original box set they released with with all that awesome stuff in it, but the newer
mm,
box sets don't really not really interest me really. I often
no,
forget that game exists.
my issue with it, and I think that's changed since, was it was always like Space Marines versus Space Marines. And then like the sort of traitor ones weren't as heretical as they could be, if you know what I mean, not as chaosy, not as demony.
Yeah,
And I kind of like that a little bit. Um, which is always fun. But yeah, like I say, yeah.
I do like
Um,
what's the epic the new version of epic. Forgot it.
it is
Adeptus Titanicus,
called
because that was
Adeptus
the one.
Titanicus. Yes,
No, it's not called Adeptus Titanicus because that was the
it's
one
not called Adeptus.
thing.
No,
I can't remember the call.
uh,
Oh my god. Oh my god. And you
War
call yourself a
Games.
Games Workshop player. Blah, 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 blah. Let's have a look here. Oh my god. It's
Adeptus
something.
Titanicus.
Is
A
it?
Legion Imperialis.
Legion Imperialis. Thank you. That's why. That's why I completely forgot it because it
There
was
we go.
a stupid name. Um,
Yeah. Yep.
I hope that's still doing well.
Latinus Nemus.
I hope that's going to do well, and I hope that's still doing well because I really would like a newer sort of newer armies, so they can like fling the orcs in there and maybe the Eldar, and
Yes.
we get
Yes.
a little bit of good stuff going on, and we can finally bring back Epic properly, because that'll definitely get me in. I've got the starter set of Imperialis, um,
Mm.
but that's as far as it went. Good game, yeah, enjoyed it, but I've only played it once, so.
Yes. But no, there's now more. Like I say, there's more sort of forces of the Emperor. Like I say, you've got the Legion of Custodes now for Horus Heresy. There's more stuff there.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting. But as you say, yeah, I'm kind of, if it ain't got orcs in it, I'm not interested, mate.
That goes for
Just
every
saying.
game, so listen to that game.
Yeah. Have you got orcs in it? That's
Yeah,
interesting.
doesn't matter what it
Um,
is. Put some orcs in it. Cup of
And the
tea,
only other thing,
orcs.
orcs in it, more orcs in it. Has it got orcs in it? I like Lord of the Rings. Do you know why I like Lord of the Rings? Got orcs in it.
Ah. Right. So
Oh.
anyway, that's about it for new releases, isn't it? I
The
think.
last thing we got for the New Year preview is just the
The
preview of
preview,
the
sorry. Yeah.
Iron Warrior stuff.
Oh
Um,
yes,
there
that
was
was
some
that.
lots of nice little sort of little pictures here. There's speculations that it could be the new Defiler, which would be very nice. There's sort of like there's lots of
I,
sort of big chimneys and big hammers and big drills and things like that and stuff. So yeah,
can I say
I
something that
think
might be a little bit controversial?
please
Because
do, please do. If we're going to get traction on this podcast, you're going to have to.
yeah, because I honestly believe that the Defiler is one of the crappiest looking things that they've ever put out. I think it's ugly. I think it's garbage. It's a garbage model. I think was it our mate, was it our friend Mark had one.
I had
I think
one.
quite. Oh, you had one. Yeah, you had one.
I had one. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
it
awful.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it was
was.
just dreadful looking.
It was
And
out
I've
of
seen like
time.
people's limbs go limp too. People have had it where their limbs have gone limp, and that's not what you
Yep,
want
that's
ever.
what I had, and it was just like if you could have like stuck it to a base, it would have been fine. But I
Yes.
think it
Well, I
didn't
mean,
have a
it's still like
base at the
ugly as
time when I
hell, but
bought mine. So yeah, and it was just like yeah, no, it was. I could see what they. I could see where they were going, but
they
I
should have
liked
stopped.
mine. I liked mine. I could see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's one of the, like I said, it's up there with like the original Nagash, Clown Nagash.
yeah.
It is ugly as all hell, and he's thrown in the bin
I'm
and a massive
working with the
redesign
guy at the minute, and he is painting a Nagash.
of the new one.
It's slow. It's slow progress. The newer one he's got though,
He's
and
so gorgeous. Again,
he's
he's
so lovely. He says I'm painting a bit, and then just like admiring it for a bit, and then sort of like painting a bit some more.
see it's
um,
he's one of those models that make me want to get in Age of Sigmar, but again,
mm,
I'm not that into fantasy, so I'll just be like, oh, I bought him, and that'll be
hmm
it, and I'll never play with him, so
Yep.
it's not worth the money.
Yeah. I got
When I've
the
got the shop open, I can use that as an
you got the
excuse.
shop.
Yeah,
You got the
when the
shop.
shop's
We'll
open.
have some Stigma stuff on there.
Yeah,
But no, I got the because I just wanted to paint some things, so I got the last Age of Sigmar magazine, the Spearhead, the one that's now coming out, essentially to replace Combat Patrol
yeah.
in a sort of crossover
Oh, there were a couple
replacement
of people that
fashion.
actually asked. Just sorry to interrupt, but there was a couple of people who asked a while back about if I was going to do Spearhead after
Mm.
Combat Patrol, and the solid answer is no.
Yeah, no,
Um,
it's not game to play, and it's
I'm not going through this again. So
yeah. No, that's fine. I think you've done your you've you've shilled out all of your stuff to Games Workshop for this one. You're fine.
yeah, I've done
Yeah,
my time, so
you've done your
please let
time
me
on
back
that
go.
one. So that's fine. But yeah, I think that's all I've got on the new reveal stuff at the moment. So that's all very interesting. There's lots of nice stuff. Not necessarily stuff that we'll play, but certainly stuff that a lot of people will probably play against us. So you know,
Yes,
yeah, yeah. Um, next, I've got Kickstarters down to have a chat about next. Really,
yes, my
um,
secret love.
your secret love. You love Kickstarters.
I do.
What have you got updates on your stuff at the moment?
So, I got a lovely email from Come On. Are they called Come On, or I mean, they're cool minis or not? Like
Cool
I always
minis or
call them
not?
Come
Yeah.
On because
Come on, is it acceptable? Yeah, yeah,
that's how
yeah,
they email it to people.
yeah.
Um, well, and it's about all this stuff. First of all, they've basically got a like a what's going on about because everything's been delayed. They're
Mm,
also basically sort of gave the reasons why things have been delayed. They've also made it clear that they're not going to be begging for more money for
okay.
manufacturing, which is good. Because I know a lot of Kickstarters will go tits up, and then people will be like, "Yeah, give us more money." These guys are not going to do that, so I appreciate that. And they've basically just asked for patience instead of sort of cancellation and stuff. Because at the end of the day, you're going to get your toys. It's just going to be a little bit later. So I'll go to the list. I haven't backed all of these, by the way. I love Kickstarters, but I haven't backed everything. So for
Backed a lot of them, but not all of them. Yeah, yeah.
I backed like three, so, which is still too many. So for Dune Desert War, that's now being packed and arranged. That should be with people at Q1 2026. Mordred is Q2 2026. That's to start print production, same as the Adventurers. I don't know which either of those two are. I haven't looked into them. That's also Q2, and that print production starts soon. The Master of the Universe Clash of Eternia stuff for the UK and the rest of Europe, because it is actually out in the US. That production is going to start Q2 2026. They're expected. Well, they've got Q3 2026 for some reason. God of War, the board game, that's Q4 2026. And at the moment, it's batch one of mold making to start soon.
Okay.
DC Superheroes United, that's Q4 2026. Core production begins in Q2. Deceased, which is another one. I did back the Master Universe one, and I backed Deceased. That's Q4 2026. The mold making starts soon, which kind of has quite annoyed me, to be honest. I was hoping to get that sooner, but delays. Delays are delays. They can't help it, so I'm not going to cry about it. Massive Darkness Dungeons of Shadow Reach. I nearly read that as Massive Darkness Shadows of Dungeon. Dungeons of Sandwich. Um, that's been delayed till 2027, along with Song of Ice and Fire Tactics, Super Fantasy Reborn, and The Dead Keep. Most of these are like mold planning and stuff, but the Super Fantasy one is because of the licensor for the Mortal Kombat stuff. So if you were looking forward to any of that stuff, tough.
Yeah.
Basically, is that email? You ain't getting it. Um, I think also the Godzilla game that's coming. That's sort of well into production, so I think that should
Okay.
be shipping hopefully soon. To be honest, at least by the end of Q1, maybe beginning of Q2. But that's me being optimistic. Are there any Kickstarters or game founders? Because that's also another thing that you're interested in, Matt.
Yeah. I'll just go back to a point on just the command stuff there. Basically, that's not an awful update for a company that we know are having problems. If you know what I
Yeah.
mean, certainly from a financial sense. So
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
not a bad. That's not a terrible update. I've had worse updates from companies that I've kickstarted recently. So
Yes. I
yeah,
mean, there was only one
you know.
Kickstarter that I nearly backed, and I'm so glad I didn't. It was the Rainbow Six Siege board game.
Okay.
Apparently, that was an absolute sort of crap show, and things went all tits up there. And I'm so glad that I didn't back it in the end because I was very tempted. Um, I don't know if people have actually even got it yet, and that was like
Mm,
I think that was up for funding.
mm.
Probably, I think possibly before the Marvel Zombies was up. So possibly sometime
Yeah.
after, maybe a little bit after. I'm not entirely sure because that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But
But
yeah,
yes, no. But back to your original point. Yes, there's one thing I'm definitely interested in, which is the Seventh Sea role play game. I played the original, I GM'd the original one, the first edition one. They then brought out a second edition in the interim of that, um, which I never played. But now they're releasing a third edition of Seventh Sea.
ooh,
Um, so that should be kickstarting early, um, sort of spring this year, essentially. So that's by Agate. There's a Kickstarter page at the moment with a notify me on launch, and this will be the third edition for this. It's a really good roleplay game. It's like a sort of magic and swashbuckling
Swashling?
pirate swashbuckling in a sort of pirate era. Um, so it's sort of 1600s Europe essentially, but with different names. And there's sort of like swashbuckling and magic. Got a very Pirates of the Caribbean in Europe sort of feel to it, but the setting was made before sort of like a Pirates of the Caribbean thing. So there's lots of kind of magic and sort of yeah, it's a very kind of Errol Flynn. You get sort of you certainly used to sort of you got sort of rewarded the harder you made things, the more flashy you made things, stuff like that, and things. And every different country has got a different sort of fighting style to it as well. Um, like the sort of the sort of German substitute country has got like heavily armored like knights fighting. So you've got like a big sort of two-handed weapon, and you're like heavily armored. Whereas like somewhere like the sort of um, the Italian sort of substitute
Yeah.
has got like sort of a left-handed fighting style, mixed with a sort of a dirty fighting with it as well.
Oh, that sounds
And it's
cool.
sort of very interesting. And the Spanish is sort of a more dancing style. So you kind of like you have to take like points in like performance as well as points in like fighting to sort of use the fighting style. It's very
Well, that
interesting.
sounds
But yeah,
that's
really good and really yeah, it's going to be well worth a watch. I'm certainly something I'm going to be looking at backing when it comes. I've got a sort of a notification for that as well. Um, is there anything that you are excited for?
Yes. There's a skirmish game coming called Butcher and Bolt, which is a
Ooh.
skirmish war game of daring raids and covert operations in World War II. It looks like it's going to be quite a lot of fun. I do like a skirmish game, and I do like a World War II game, and well, I used to play bolt action, but then Warlord Games did what they did with the Doctor Who stuff. And yeah,
Yes.
and I basically had to sell sort of my bolt action stuff to fund the stuff that I could get for Doctor Who. And yeah, ever since then, I've had a bitter taste in my mouth um, from from Warlord Games. It's a good game, but it's sad because bolt action is a really good game. But now I just
Mm.
think how badly they screwed me over. So yeah, I'm never going to
Yeah,
go
when you
there.
get a little something from a company, it's always a little bit like, I don't like this now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. 'Cause, I mean, that was like I used to be a huge Doctor Who fan,
Mm.
and they released a game which, quite frankly, wasn't that good, but the models were nice. And then sort of COVID happened, and the BBC are notoriously garbage at giving sort of licenses or licensors sort of the rights or the go ahead to do stuff.
Mm.
They take forever. Half the time, you have to sort of do little quirks and things like that. And it took such a long time that Warlord Games did kind of like lose a lot of money on it. But they still had some stuff that had been produced, so they got the okay to let all that stuff go. And that's like, oh, excellent. We'll finally be able to get hold of the last few remaining bits. Well, you could, but the only way you could do it, you could get one set, and bear in mind these are like five or sometimes three metal models, and the only way you could get one set was spend £100. So to get the rest, you would have to spend, I think it was like £1,100 on Warlord
Blimey.
Games stuff, and that was kind of like, no, get bent, guys. Like, no. I think I picked up,
No.
I think I picked up two lots. I got the Seventh Doctor because he's my favorite Doctor, and I got the Second Doctor because he's my favorite Doctor. Well, he's my other favorite Doctor. Um, yeah, but after that, I was kind of like, no, no, which is a shame because that Judge Dredd game's quite fun too. But they've probably
Mm.
done the same with that by now. So.
It is, yeah, it is bad of them. I know that a friend of ours had a gaming shop and was trying to get hold of the Walking. They did the Walking Dead, didn't they? Warlord games as well.
No, Mantic Games
No,
did Walking Dead.
Mantic games. Okay, we'll cut
Yeah.
that bit out then. That's fine.
No, no, that's staying
Okay, that's fine.
in.
That's fine. But okay, either way, Mantic games had problems getting hold of the Walking Dead stuff they wanted from them. So there we go. There
Well,
we go.
I know they
This is
brought back they brought that back last year. The
the
Walking
Walking Dead
Dead.
game. It was
Yeah,
again. I never played it, but it seemed an interesting
it,
concept. That
I've
kind of it was a skirmish game where the sort of the
I do
zombies
have
were
it.
a the zombies were a what's the word I'm looking for? An environmental hazard as opposed to sort of
Yes,
like
yeah,
a faction essentially. So
yeah. I mean, I
it's an
do have
interesting
it. I've
point.
I've played it a couple of times. It is quite a fun little game.
No,
I don't
that's
have
good.
much for it. Just the starter set and like a couple of other sort of people
Mm,
here and there. And then I picked up the Here's Negan stuff, the models, so I
yeah.
could get the cards. Well, I actually picked up the cards because I bought the Here's Negan board game. And I thought, oh, I'm just getting the cards, but in through the post popped all of the models as well. And I was like, oh, thanks.
Oh, I don't think I was getting
I
that, but
love
that's fine.
Mantic games. They give you
Yeah.
they give you more than you expect.
Oh,
So,
yeah, there we go then.
I have
Mantic.
got their Halo game, which I have not tried yet. So
The very moral of this one is Mantic Games, a mixed bag.
yeah, if you're a supplier, yeah.
Yeah,
If you're just a customer, hey, that's
sounds good to me. As
that's
customers, it sounds all right to us then. Yeah.
yeah. I'm sure I'll get my problems eventually with them.
Yes.
Yes. So, we're coming up to an hour, and you wanted to quickly dive into, because I think we've covered everything else with the other stuff, and you wanted to quickly talk a monthly segment about was it second edition or things we've lost throughout the years when it comes to our beloved orcs. We're both we're both orc players,
More
um,
players.
but they used to be so much more fun, and we have had a few things taken away from us over the years, and you wanted to cover some of that.
I did. I did. I'm calling this segment Broken Orc Stuff from Days Gone Past. So a lot of it will probably be from second edition because that feels where orcs were most nuts. However,
Yes.
I've got a list of about half a dozen things, and it comes across a couple of different things. But the one I'm going to start with first is an artillery gun from second edition called the splatter cannon. Um, so it was as a model, it was an unassuming looking cannon. It looked like a sort of a howitzer type thing on a sort of gun emplacement, armed by a couple of Gretchen. But when it fired, um, it used artillery dice. So back in the olden days, um, you used, but people who've only played 10th edition or even like 8th and things like that and stuff have never used the artillery dice. So you'd fire a weapon that would have a certain scatter, and then you would roll two dice. One would have numbers on it, from 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and misfire, and then the other one would have four sides of an arrow, no, five sides of an arrow, and a hit on one side.
Yes. Oh, I
Um,
miss those
and
dice.
so and so most of the time, if you were firing an artillery piece, you would use these. You would put down where you wanted the shot to go, and then roll your artillery dice, and then the arrow and the number would say that many inches is how far it would go. Um, so the splatter cannon, and then you would stop when once you rolled it once, you would stop, and that's where the explosion would happen, and that's where the you'd start making your rolls for damage. The orc splatter cannon worked in a very different way.
Yes.
So it didn't stop until it hit something, or you rolled the hit or a misfire on the dice. Um, and so you picked where you wanted it to go, rolled the artillery dice, and it would then move. And if you didn't, and as long as you got a number and arrow, you would just keep rolling. Um, the first time I used it, it bounced back on me, and I killed 4 of my own models. The second time I used it, I killed 6 of my own models. Um, the third time I used it, I killed 3 15mm French infantry on another table.
See, there are people sitting here listening to this thinking, I'm sorry, why do they wish they'd bring this stuff back? The
But it
reason
was
why we
back,
like that sort of stuff is because
back.
orcs were truly unpredictable.
It was the beauty. It was there's no unpredictability in orcs anymore. There's a
No,
little bit. There's some hazardous stuff, but there's not enough. There's not enough
there's not that much hazardous stuff there.
proper game-changingly weird stuff where you just go, I'm
Um,
going to roll a dice, and whatever happens, happens.
yes,
Um,
yeah, I
just to absolutely, just to bookend this really. As an orc player, I've been an orc player since I started playing 40k.
yeah, same here.
My cousin introduced me to the game, played a couple of Space Marine things, and but I didn't know what I was buying. The first box I bought was a box of Gretchen, and then I bought some other. Then I bought the second edition box, which had orcs in it as well. And so I've played orcs since then, pretty much non-stop.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of things for orcs over the years. I've probably had nearly everything they've released for orcs over the years. There's probably only a few bits nowadays that I don't have. But yeah, and like
You don't have a Morganor,
I do not have a Morkanaut. I've never had a Morkanaut. I have had a Stomper. I've never had a Morkanaut.
which is wild,
It
really, when you think
is
about
nuts. It's absolutely crazy. But but these are on my list of things just to get.
it. Yeah,
But
yeah.
at the moment, once I get this year, absolutely. Once I get my like my Astra Militarum army to sort of what I want to get from the combat patrol and maybe a couple other little bits. That's it. I'm not I'm not going out to buy anything else. I'm going to try and just paint it and try and paint what I've got. I've got a whole orc. I've got about half an orc army still to paint. I've got most of a Space Marine army still to paint. And I'll now have an Imperial Guard army to paint.
I wish I had as little as you.
100%,
Stuff to paint.
100%. It's just like I'm just sitting here just going, you know what? It's fine. We'll just do this. But yeah, that was the splatter cannon. That was the ridiculousness of an orc weapon that you just rolled dice until you hit something or something blew up.
Yes, that
Um,
there was. It added a little bit of that spice to the game that is definitely lacking these days when it comes to orcs, where you generally are a little bit scared of your own army.
yes, yes.
That's how it
That
should be.
anything could
Orcs are
go wrong
lethal.
at any single moment. There's so much more to talk
Yeah,
about from orcs things.
there
Um,
is, there is.
and I've got I'm mainly going from an orc point of view for this, but yeah, this is just the bizarrest, yeah, just the absolute bizarrest thing I could think of immediately. I've got more. I've got a few other bits up my sleeve, but we'll save those for later
We'll save
episodes.
those for the next video. We're going to come to an end in a second, but as we're talking about orcs, and there is a rumbling about the 11th edition of
Mm.
40k. It's meant to be Space Marines versus Orcs. Are you excited? Do you think it's going to be Space Marines versus Orcs? Because I think the rumor started there's going to be Space Marines versus Orcs basically because of Dawn of War 4.
Yes, I don't. I think so. I think it's Orc's turn to go in the box essentially. Um, Weirdly, like if you look at all the additions as you go along, like um,
The
we've
Orcs
had
have been in quite
chaos.
a lot.
Yeah, orcs haven't been in since what, like fourth or fifth edition. Like Assault on Black Reach would be the last time orcs were in.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because you would have had like third edition. I think was Dark Eldar, and then I think we had Assault on Black Reach after that would be like fourth edition. We were around that sort of mark.
Yeah, then it was
Again, someone will probably correct me. And
then it
then we've had
was no
yeah,
because then we had I think we had Marines and Nids, and then I think it
yeah.
was Marines and Orcs. Uh, oh, I can't remember now. Good lord.
There's definitely been a Dark Eldar one in there when they were
Yes,
they were
yeah,
when they were the
that
new
was the third
hotness. They
edition.
were in.
Dark Elder was the
Yeah,
third edition.
yeah.
Um,
You think there might be Nids, and you think it might have been Orcs.
yeah,
And
there
then we
were
had I
yeah,
want to say there was an early Necron one, but I'm happy to be wrong on that one.
yeah. I don't think there
Um,
wasn't an early Necron one. That was
yeah.
Indominus. It
So
was a
we then
ninth
had
edition.
you then had what seventh was it seventh edition was Dark Vengeance,
Oh, I
which
don't
had
know.
the seventh edition I think was Dark Vengeance, which was Chaos, which was
Yes,
Dark Angels and Chaos.
yeah,
Then we had eighth edition, which was Death Guard. Obviously, you had all those other boxes that we talked about earlier in between all of
yes,
those.
yeah,
And then, like as you say, yeah, we had Indomitus, which was the Necron
yeah.
ones,
Which is
and then
Necron.
we had the Leviathan, which was then which is kind of where we are now. It's sort of the
Yeah,
new
we're
starter box, essentially
currently in the
a
Leviathan era.
watered down Leviathan, essentially. So
Yeah.
yeah, they do like to put a Xenos army in. They don't like to put Eldari in for some reason.
I
Um,
think it's basically because you probably wouldn't need to buy much
yeah,
after you've bought the starter set with Eldari because they are expensive, boys and girls. Um,
The, yes, the main
the
issue you have with
specialists.
Eldari in general is you just buy one of every type of like
Yeah,
aspect warrior
and
and
you
go.
never need to
I
buy
don't
them
need
again.
anything else now. I'm
Yeah,
absolutely fine.
yeah,
It's kind of like you kind of they have a sort of a very limited. You could buy 1,000 intercessor marines and put them on the board.
Yeah.
That's overstatement, of course. But yeah,
I mean, I feel like I own a thousand
Space
Marines.
Marines, and they're all the same. Whereas you don't generally get that with Eldar, so they don't lend themselves to historically have never lent themselves to sort of being an army that people buy every week.
Yeah.
So um, but yeah, but orcs you could just buy as many orc boys as you want. They've got the new orc boys sculpts, so they could put those in really nice and really easily. Um, uh,
Nice new Warboss
there's
out of it.
yeah, be a lovely new war boss. They probably
Oh,
might even go beast snagger stuff in there.
oh, yes, please. I haven't got any of those yet. Oh no, I have.
Really?
I've got the war boss, the named war boss. Can't remember his name
Oh
because
yes.
I can barely remember
Yeah.
my own name. I'm dreadful with names. But, yeah, I've got him, and that's all I've got so far. But I would once Combat Patrol is over, I'm going to do videos where I add to the Combat Patrol stuff, and I might be investing in the Beast Dagger stuff for the orcs.
Beast snagger stuff.
So
Yeah, that's cool. Weirdly, I got rid of my beast snagger stuff because I'm an old school orc boy, and I was just kind of like, they don't really fit what I want.
You're a goth boy. You are. You're a
I'm a
goth
goth
boy.
orc boy,
See,
and
I'm a bad. I'm an
occasionally a cult of
evil
speed
sons boy.
boy.
Yeah. See, I'm an
Yeah,
evil sons boy and a bit of a bad moon boy.
yeah.
I like I like I like the juxtaposition of the yellow and the red side by side.
Mm,
So,
no,
but
I
now I've
like
got some
that. I know what you
goths
mean.
thanks to Combat Patrol. So
Yes,
bastards,
yeah, the combat
they
shop
ruined
stuff
my
is really
theme.
nice. The only problem is that you kind of if you want more orcs, you kind of need to buy the old box because the new
Yeah.
box gives you like a very specific,
Yes,
like
the new box is
very
quite.
specific amount of like shooter boys and chopper boys. So
Yeah, it's quite irritating.
yes,
But
but
right.
yeah,
So I think we've rambled on enough
yes,
for
we have
now.
chin wagged as we do.
We've chin wagged enough for now. I plan to do these sort of at least once a month, sort of towards the end of the month, just like this one. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any comments about what we've spoken about, please leave them in the comments section. Don't be rude. Rude comments will either get ignored or I'll be rude back to you, and you don't want that. Like I said, if you enjoyed the channel, if you enjoyed what we've talked about, give us a subscribe, give us a like, share the video if possible, and we'll see you on the next one. Would you like to say goodbye, Matt?
I will. I will say goodbye to all the listeners, and may your dice always roll criticals.
Unlike mine, which suck at dice. Thanks again, and
Thank
goodbye
you,
for
guys.
now.